The counter is rolling. We have 4 of 5 members present. Mr. Cox is not with us today. Everyone else is present. And we will call the Grant County Drainage Board to order October 31st. First up on the agenda, we have the October 10th minutes. If you don't know if you've had the opportunity to read those, but those are the corrected ones that we asked Mary to correct for us. So there shouldn't be any more problems there. Kenny's already grabbed his pen, so I think he's gonna.
Well, since he signed it, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion, Mr. Pinkerton. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, Mr. Cates. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is carried. See what happens when we sign this in orange. Gordon, what do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, you got one.
Well, yeah, I'm not, yeah.
All right, we've got 2 sets of claims. Jim, if you'll walk us through the first set,
We got
please.
another 7 minutes.
Oh, do we?
That was,
That was the 9th or the 10th. That's the only one I've got.
that's the one she corrected.
Yes. Do you have another set with you?
I don't think I brought them.
Is Mary here on the?
What was the last meeting? Was it the 10th?
Yeah.
Never mind, excuse me.
All right. Mary's not with us. Nope.
If those were the 10th, then those weren't the corrected ones.
This was the one.
Look at the date on those.
Pretty sure it said in the paragraph it was
Last meeting,
conducted on the
we
10th.
didn't sign them on account of the,
October 10th. Yeah, so there should be a set that, the corrected ones would have been before that.
Okay. Maybe I picked up the wrong papers, but
or the 10th will be September.
that's right, because Morgan is on that one. And that's from last week or last meeting.
Yeah, it was the one before that.
I mean, it's all right. It's
We'll get it next time.
But there
We'll
was
get the
another,
corrected ones next time.
there was another set that went back into the last week of September or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So we did the 10th, but we still have the one previous to that. I apologize. Let's go ahead and walk through the claims there, Jim.
First one's is Connor Stone, that $924.96. This is for the stone delivery, and there's actually $80,548 in the fund. And the other one was for the stone itself, IMI, $2,728.63.
Just fix, wash there.
And I think we're done.
Okay.
This is on Luger Creek.
What's that number again?
The money that's actually in there, Raymond did some calculation, is $80,548.
And
We got
the
80.
cornerstone, I've got 924.96.96.
Yeah. Is $924.96. There's
Okay,
an
so-
extra 96 cents.
All righty.
He's saying 82, 85,000. This is 82, 447.
It's an $1,800 claim.
Yeah. We actually got $80,548.
Okay. I make a motion, we pay these 2 claims as presented.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Goff, second, Mr. Pinkerton. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next batch?
Bragg Excavating, $5,700 on Pipe Creek, $144,588 in the fund. And the other one's Bragg Excavating, $8,040 on Pipe Creek. And the first group of pictures is for the $8,000 one. these log jams have been there for a couple of years. It actually kind of changed the creek flow. And what he's doing is putting the creek back where it was before all the log jams diverted it to the north. And then it'd been on the list for a while, and some of them logs got spread out under a big flood.
It's amazing.
Not the ones on the curve, but,
Where's this at?
it's,
Just over,
just out of the county a little ways. One was the first county road in Miami County that it crossed, just north of that. I don't know the road number. And then the other one was downstream quite a bit. One of them's got a location, but I don't know if it has the road number on it. I'll let the Miami County surveyor take care of it. Eric come in the other day and I've got a breakdown. He did list the names of the farmers. Don Halen. And it was log jams along Pipe Creek East, 1100 South, and 1050 East in Miami County. That was the 5,700. And log jams along Pipe Creek East of 1100 South and south of 1050 East on Pearl Linen Farm and Thomas Smith. I don't know those names. Do you, Kenny?
I know Pearl Linen.
Okay, I know Thomas Smith, so that was the one where it was diverting the creek to the north because it was a major log jam. A lot of them are probably Grant County log.
You know, at sometime, there's gonna have to be some money spent on that, Pipe Creek down through there because there was a little spin up around Sweetser and, when you get on down in there, there hasn't been much down there at, Culver's, there was a cemetery. I think there was a little work done down around there, wonder.
Yep, Mitch Cook has got in on the old access pass he's always used, and he knows a lot of those farmers. We usually spend a few $1,000s on him taking log jams out. I know the new houses has talked about, clear cutting a path at one time. There's a couple of houses close to it. I'm kind of leery of that, speeding the water up a whole lot.
That's between 13 and where the
One house is this
cemetery
north.
is, or?
Yeah, one house is this north of Sweetser.
Oh, okay,
And one house is burnt down, and them's the only two I'm worried about, really. That's 500 West.
yeah, I was thinking of the wrong, I was thinking about the
I think downstream, everything's okay,
cemetery you're talking about is just straight north of Sweetser.
Well, no, the one you're talking about over by Converse, right?
Well, just all down through there.
Right.
It don't make any difference, it just all down through there.
Yeah, Mark
See,
Blister
that
has a
comes,
big
that Pipe
stretch.
Creek comes up there to Roseburg,
Mhm.
and JD won't let you,
He did give Mitch and
he'll let Mitch.
to get the log jams out, but he never got to it this season. So it's something, we need to at least pull the logs out. Yeah, he was opposed to clear cutting the path through there. Got it up to Roseburg. It'd be nice to open it up a little better because I know north of there, it's opened up and Brian Cates takes good care of it.
See, you can't jump over there in Roseburg, you can't jump over on the east side of the creek, cause that's all flagstone.
Mhm.
And that creek down through there, you're into stone the way it is,
Yeah,
but there's trees, log jams and so forth, all the way through Pipe Creek. I mean, Mitch gets time. He can go on JD.
right. He's okay with them.
Yeah.
But like it was done with a steam shovel, I think in the 40s. And they were scraping stone then, and that's just all flagstone. And the pile goes from 8 to 10 feet probably. It's got
Yeah.
trees growed in it.
But Toby owns the east side of that creek and JD owns the south, or the west side.
I've always tried to stay away
But
from
the west side's the one that needs to be
the old spoil.
worked off of, okay?
Right, yeah, it's the path of least resistance.
Did we have any action on Pipe Creek yet? Or are we just still talking about it?
I'll make a motion. We approve the Pipe Creek.
Second.
Motion, from Pat, second from Gordon. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain.
and that is correct. You abstain. Thank you, sir. Carried 3-1 abstention. All right, any other discussion on, I was counting 3 different areas there on that creek. Roseburg. We had some on, outside of Converse. And how far back to the west does it go from?
Mark Lester owns a big chunk right where it goes to, from 900 to the county line.
Okay,
What, it goes clear up to Macento, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh,
on,
up
it's on
through-
Main, it's about to McGrawsville, and that's where it becomes a natural, Department of Natural Resources stream.
okay.
There by Santa Fe, we.
But that
did
drains
log-
it.
Last time was there by Santa Fe, we took the log jam.
That drains a lot of water up in our area. So I mean, it's a good thing we got those log jams out. there.
Yeah. Patrick, how much time do we have before you have to leave?
We're good so far.
Okay.
15.
Okay. No additional on the Little Crane Pond right now. Potter Creek, that's where we were talking last time around and asked for some clarification, didn't we?
Mhm.
Have we gotten?
That's the clarification
Okay.
on the size of tile. We also have another contractor that has been requested to put a price in. And Kenny, did you take a look at this map here?
I got
Okay, you got one.
there.
See, this is Potter Creek and tributaries. We cleaned out the head wall to 900 season ago. And then it's supposed to take care of all these tiles, and the one going up here and going north of 500. That's the one they're interested in replacing. Now, it's gonna benefit 3 or 4 people. I don't know how many people signed up and agreed to for sure that they was wanting this. You talked to him.
My understanding is that the one that goes up through, not Meadowbrook, what's the guy's name who used to live up there?
Brown,
No, they're on 13.
Kratzer,
Huh?
Kratzer,
No,
is it a Woodmansey?
Woodmansey. That there's one that goes north there, and it's all full of dirt. So Scott's supposed to know something about this, okay, as I understand it. All right.
Have you been out and looked at it?
2016, we worked on that farm for Morgan's, where it got the crop.
Can you show them on the map here, please? You was just doing repair work, right?
Yes, at that time. So, I think this is Morgan and this is Winger. And we put some laterals into it in here, and it was just quartered up in that area. And then there was a suck hole down in here. Oiler was a tenant at that time, and we repaired that.
There's a concrete box up in here someplace.
Okay. Yeah,
You know where it's at?
I know.
Jim, do you know where it's at?
I thought it was back in the field where a bunch of the tile come together.
Yeah.
I got a different picture. I'll show you.
This one we discussed, if we're talking about money and it's not near enough money to do the job, right?
There wasn't quite enough, no.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be.
And I'm not sure if you're gonna use this as a whole watershed.
And this is just a Google Earth picture from 26 or 2015 or 2012 or something like that. And Dave Morgan I talked to him and he proposed starting here where it comes under, he said it comes across 13 and it comes up. Wants to start there, and then there's a big catch basin
There.
in this low ground here, or it's, well, yes, it's low ground, but. And that's the stretch that they want to replace. That's the 4,500 feet you're talking about. But, your question is to where does this one go?
Yeah. Well, it comes, looks like it comes down here and then goes
Goes
north.
north, right? And you can see, I don't know if that's a score going north there, but when I looked at it on the computer, it seemed like there's something that wants to continue this way.
Well,
And then there's
yeah,
one that,
it does.
yep. And
Okay.
then it wants to continue, something wants to continue this way.
And then you come off back here and you got one coming down this way over towards
Yes.
Cratchers and so forth.
So that would be,
And they're all Powder Creek and tributaries, so you know, we've tried to keep the money spread out, and keep them all working.
I'll leave that there for you guys to.
Thank you.
From the conversation I had with Morgan, he said that they would take care of the laterals in that stretch. As far as
Hooking them up.
the expense of hooking them up. That was another expense that was on his quote that he could save money and possibly get the project done.
I don't know how many people you got that's agreed to this thing, because if you look at the watershed, this is a pretty good watershed.
Mhm.
And you got more, I understand Morgan's wants to get this fixed, okay? But what about this guy and this guy that comes through here and goes up out of the way?
Would you want to notify all the landowners to come in for, discussion to the drainage board about their wishes maybe before you release the
Well, they
money?
need to raise more money,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, I seen a discussion, there was not nearly enough money in there. And I guess then I catch it that they were thinking some money available, but I.
Well, there's this fall's collection coming up, you know.
Yeah, but it was, still wasn't gonna,
I think we would catch it next spring and get it out of the black or out of the red. If he paid for the laterals and they didn't put backstone or stone as backfill. I think that was the numbers that were,
What was the quote?
I don't have it.
Was this the 75?
It's 75 or 78
Yeah.
or.
And then another 12 or something, that they had to
Yeah,
do the laterals on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 33,694, and I don't have in front of me what they pay per acre. Seem like it's,
10,
is
maybe.
it 10? Because
And 10 a
we've
house,
raised it
and 10 a house.
And-
A
and this
number
comes out-
on the house.
Otter Creek and
and
Cribs.
tributaries, yeah. And we opened up the open ditch. There's two head wall, two
Yeah.
tiles at outlet. We opened it up last year to the First County Road. And that took a big chunk.
Max Mills worth, I would say probably knows about as much about this as anybody.
So you think it would be back in the black
Fall of next year.
by fall of 24?
There's only like 37,000 in the fund.
I'm not sure how much, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I was thinking that it would get out, but
but the problem is they wanted to get it done, they gotta get the money somewhere.
That's what I was trying to figure out, the difference between 35, 37. It surely wouldn't collect in that much to get it up to 80
I don't know,
in a year.
I know there was a.
no, there was gonna be some that they would have to pay out of pocket.
Cause we was just,
and another wrench in the works would be Burr's other estimate, and they're gonna have two estimates to choose from,
Yeah.
two different contractors.
It wouldn't hurt to have three, but
Two's better.
have you presented yours to Mr. Morgan?
Got it right here, ready to go.
how much is yours?
Does he want to tell us?
don't.
If there's gonna be another one coming in.
75.6.
Now, has your ditching machine got a rounded bottom on the,
Yes, you'll get a profile. You'll get a styled profile. Take one of each.
please.
And the
I
estimates for what size?
This is 4,500 feet of 18-inch.
18 inch. I guess I thought it was 24 going that way, but it's been a long time since I looked at it.
And the way I've got it represented here, once it gets passed around to you, and I apologize, I don't have enough copies. But, and there's 3 lines, they all run together. But the middle line would be the existing one. That'd be the existing 18. And I would propose running on the north side of that with a new one. Since the watershed would be larger on that side. And then on the south side of the existing one, I propose running an empty trench alongside that. That way we can see what we cut on the south side of that. And then we can dig that across and let that into our new outlet. And then, question that I was unsure of how to handle was, what do we do with the old main? Do we abandon it at all? Do we crush it? And if we do, how do we go about that? There's different opportunity or different ways to do that. But as far as stone, I think you guys have heard for yourselves. That's not necessary if we're not if we're in a good profile. It's not necessary. I did give you a price to add stone per foot. It's pretty substantial. Another $2.50 a foot to put stone on. So that's where I'm at with it, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
You know, and I know it seems like nobody wants to dig up the old tile and put it where that tile is because it's such a hassle and time consuming and expense. But yeah, you could mash that thing shut a few places, but it's still gonna take water and it's still gonna be breaking down. If it's
Right.
real close to the old one, it's confusing on
What's what?
what's
We done one here a while back. We just run the ditching machine right down through it,
chewed it all up.
And I've got
pushed it back in.
on here, I've got a self-propelled plow now, and we could set that thing in the center of that old one and drive.
That's the
And then
best
collapse
thing
it. And then we're not bringing that clay up on top of the ground where the wheel machine's going to bring all that trash up on the ground.
Yeah,
The only thing that's going to be a nuisance, which I don't know that's a big deal, is we're going to be hitting these 4 and 8 and 10 foot repairs of dual wall plastic. And I'm going to assume, I've not ever done this, but I'm going to assume that we're going to bring that stuff up out of the ground.
Yeah.
Now that could be dealt with, I'm sure. And then what do? We're going to have a small divot because we're going to collapse that tile, and now we're going to have a small divot on top of that. I don't know what the proper thing to do with that is or how substantial that divot will be either.
hopefully as it settles, it'll all fill in.
Okay.
You know.
Yep. So, but those are options, and they're all debatable.
Just, you know, the trouble is there's just not quite enough funds to do what
Mhm.
some of them want. And it's like Kenny says, how's the other people in the watershed feel, you know?
Very fair. So, yeah, if this is something that want to get more people involved with, and if we have different ideas, I mean, I'm happy to go back to the drawing board. And
If they come in and say, we'd like our ditch tax raised so we can work on this other branch too,
Mhm.
then what do they want it raised to?
Well, when you come across the road there on the south side of 400, Kratzer's has got some wet ground in there.
Yes,
Just to the input, whenever we work on a watershed, we don't ask the other people in the watershed if they want to spend money on it in that location or that location. We just don't generally do that. When we spend money on Luger Creek, we don't ask the other people on Luger Creek if they want to spend it where we're spending.
yeah, but
We're
I
not
think,
in the hole on Luger Creek money though.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We won't be in the hole like we do with Luger Creek.
there won't be money available
every year.
until 2025.
And there's really, this is about the only one I know, other than Stony Creek and tributaries, that has, Stony Creek and tributary has like 5 tiles and the open ditch, and you've got to be careful how you spread that money out and keep things running. But not waste, not spend it all on one person where the other guy says, hey, what about mine breaking
How
down?
often have we gotten requests on Potter?
It's been holding up. We
I
haven't-
mean, but do we typically get requests every year or? it's
Yeah,
just
there's a
kinda
few
hit-
breaks every year.
So chances are
We've kept
Before
the
the
head
end
wall clean the last,
before the beginning of 2025, we'll have another request on Potter Creek.
yeah, on this one, we've kept being able to keep the head wall clean, so the 224s are not backing up and blowing out like they used to, It's probably been
Well-
open about 20 years and hadn't been backed up.
It broke down there in the woods there for a while,
Mm-hmm,
and then Max come in there
discovered it.
and, I didn't know they farmed a bunch of ground. They farmed a bunch of ground up around there. Off of,
These, the thing in tributaries is all right. Now, Big Deer Creek, we didn't do that.
Right.
We did Big Deer, and then we did the others. And that way you knew it kind of created, because I got to cuss them out. Well, you didn't do it. Well, we just did the main line.
Right. And I think it's better that way.
I do too, because if you don't want to, if you're on, not, if you're on tributary, if you don't want it, then we're not gonna clean it. So that's.
These were set up in the 60s, both Stony Creek and Potter Creek, and it's an
but
unusual situation because most of the other ones are not that way.
Yeah. It's already set
Everybody
up.
pays on the open ditch.
It's already set up, but
You
I
got
think,
your own separate tile branch you're
yeah,
paying.
I think we need to think
It's a double
about,
tax that
what
way.
was the other? One you brought, Burr?
Yes,
Cat?
yes, the last meeting,
Yeah.
the polywalk and the waters in the middle for it.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
the reason I would like to see them do individual, the main trunk, and then the individuals, and if the guys don't wanna pay, you don't do
Sure.
Everybody pay on the main one.
them. Yeah,
And then you're gonna have a double tax because you're gonna
Yeah.
take care of your tributary too.
yeah, but that's my.
If you lump them all in together, you gotta charge a whole lot.
Yeah,
Well, Hollis Daughtery is that way. Hollis Daughtery and tributaries, everybody, we've been piecemealing, fixing it. Raymond's worked hard on that watershed.
but see, when you
Yeah,
get
probably.
them over here and down into here, there's some pretty good farmers down through here that if they knew what was going on, they're gonna want action.
Their money's all being spent
Right?
and they're not benefiting from it.
So
I understand Morgan wants them.
we've got two bids now.
Yeah.
So do we talk with the essential players? Do we ask for another bid and then bring them in to discuss the options on the bids? What's the best plan of action?
I don't know.
Well,
If we try splitting them now, it's gonna take a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, I don't think you can split them now.
Okay.
But the ones in the future that we do, make sure we split them, and that way, the guy says, I don't want my trains done, okay, we won't come yours.
Most we could
So
do
is
is
it-
send out notices, invite them to a meeting and to discuss the ditch tax on this and the expenditures of the money.
they may want to raise the ditch tax.
And we'd be in the springtime and we could have a hearing and we could raise it.
Collect 25.
Well,
Yeah, that'd be the problem, but
I got nothing.
it's
in
too
it.
late this year to have the hearing anyway,
Yeah,
to get more money coming in. But then
It was this matter of first come, first served then on the way it is. Huh?
here's the way it is,
I mean, that's kind of the way
yeah, squeaky wheel.
it always
It's kind of done it that
that's the way it's always been before, whoever comes and asks for the money and needs it.
And then if the next person comes in and the money's not there, then say, well, okay,
Put them on the list.
if you want it, you either wait or you.
Petition for a raise.
Sort of
This
petition
is
for-
needed. I don't think there's any question about it. Needs done.
See,
I don't know what shape all the other ones are in, though.
I can't say for sure. But what's the one at Oak Hill, goes through Oak Hill School?
Badly out.
Yeah.
Bradley out. Okay,
Boy,
that's on the other side of this 400 section, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And some of these boys took this water down to the 400 instead of running it into Friendly Out.
Right. They've got their own outlet into Pipe Creek.
Well, so, you know, I'm
Yeah, some of that acreage on the end of this has been tiled southeast, I think. But on surface, on hard rain, I think it still comes Potter probably.
Max may have run one from Pipe Creek direct up there to that intersection of
He did, yeah.
700 and 400,
Mm-hmm. He did,
24.
yeah. Yeah, Byron Cook bulldozed the hill down to where they could get it put in through a hill. I went to the location, we run elevations on for him.
You know, so maybe that'd pick up in south part of this, okay?
Just to throw this out there on this Potter's ditch we're talking about, where it's on the west side of 13, and it travels through the woods and goes back to the head wall. That's been that's had maintenance on it, correct? That's been
Right,
updated. So if you look at it from that perspective, you started downstream at the head wall, and now you're just working upstream. So it's not in vain in that regard, because you've already spent money downhill, and now you're just working your way uphill.
There is some old clay tile down there, but it seems like it's holding up good and it's got cover. Every once in a while you'll have a break, but it's been holding up pretty good.
So maybe I'm just suggesting that maybe you can look at it as a phase and not, the whole thing. So
Random segment, but a continuation.
there you go.
And then when we cleaned out the open ditch, everybody's money went towards that 40,000. So everybody benefited from that, see? But not everybody's.
I know everybody doesn't agree, but I wasn't involved at the meeting. But not talking about Max from Denverville. And he doesn't think he needs to pay because he got bail. And I wasn't invited to the meeting, but, he thinks he shouldn't have to pay or pay as much. Well, how you gonna determine
Well,
how much you have to pay?
we got into the contour of the ground, and I think he ended up paying the whole thing.
Well,
He is right now, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
It was a surface flow.
yeah, on account of surface water,
mhm.
but I just,
We got a whole kind of worms and I don't know how to deal with it, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
be fair,
I mean, if you go in there and sneak in a tile up there, and then somebody sees it, next thing you know, we're gonna have problems on these other, that one comes up here.
just approve this and then they come to them as enough money, then they'll wait in line, I don't know what you do to try to be fair.
Guy that would, and if Morgan gets his put in now, he's still gonna have to pay toward getting the other ones fixed because he's still in the watershed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But if you did separate them out, you use the money out of the collection and they got put on their own, then he could get singled out and not have to pay on the others.
But I don't think we can do that since it's already, we can't do that. I don't wanna.
Yeah, it's
I think we'd have to go through an entire cycle.
a new
before
public
we-
hearing
Yeah.
to separate them all.
No,
Yeah, in the future, Morgan's money's gonna be used to fix these other ones because his is in good shape.
Yeah.
So as he pays in the next few years, once it gets out of the grid, that's what's the big picture.
so what's the question before us?
Do we have any money?
No,
The question is do we run this in the red for a year?
That's a good question.
Which contractor?
yeah,
You get another contractor.
Or do you get another one? Another quote?
And I had on there
You
too.
got two quotes?
Personally, I wouldn't look at doing that until next summer. Is what my time frame would look like on that. So,
that shows that job is for your job, so
right.
probably Scott too, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But,
So I just wanted to add that in there too.
but is there enough, would there be enough money? We don't want to pay the money out and we're gonna have to, a year before it gets collected. Maybe we put it off. I know they want it done.
More of the money would be there.
Yeah.
But if someone comes in and needs something done in the meantime, that's gonna take money away from
Yeah,
this. And what will the price be next year?
yeah.
Is it gonna, with the way materials are now?
Well, stone's gonna be 6% higher,
Yeah.
but,
And pipe may be through the roof.
but all of mayhem and chaos with Fratco over gravel and so forth. And I don't know if Morgan's or somebody else called Fratco. But I know that Dave's got a bucket that's hurt. Scott's got a bucket that's that. Is yours like that or not?
Yes. And all on the installation process, to be frank, there's my interest is there's a tool called the Liebert Trench Box, and it's got a profile. You change a shoe for every size. So if you've got 18, 24, 30, whatever it is, you change a shoe. This box is adjustable. The bottom profile is your 180 degrees that you're looking for. You dig down in front of it with an excavator within 10 inches of grade. Now you physically plow or pull that bottom 10 inches in, and you get your profile. With this tool, you're able to you can go 9 foot deep and up to 36-inch pipe before you have to bench down.
Well, what are you doing with a excavator or a
Well, it would
ditching machine?
be an excavator and then the pro is now you can sort yellow dirt from black dirt. And depth, you can go deeper because instead of a 7 foot limitation before we got a bench, we got a 9 foot limitation. And then we put a stone box on the back of that, and we can put stone in behind it. If you're digging in front, you see say you cut a 12-inch tile. Now you can go ahead and set your fitting right now and pull it through the boot, and you don't have to come back and set that fitting.
So you're digging it with an excavator?
With a profile, yes.
But you got a machine that comes back in and puts that bottom in, right?
You know, you do it. You're pulling a
This
bottom.
I'm pulling a bottom with an excavator.
Okay.
Is what I'd be doing. And an appropriately sized bottom with that excavator.
Scott will do it with a ditching machine.
Yep. So,
And if you're moving a location, you can run into 2, 3, 4 foot rocks out there in certain places in that ground out there.
Creates a problem, that was the first one.
Stony Creek's got a name for a reason from. You run into some boulders out in that area. You're putting in new tile, new location.
I don't have an answer, but the money's not there.
See what we getting up above it.
I think we've got enough money. I think we need, that's, because
Are we gonna draw 30,000 next year?
What was that draw? Gosh,
it was close. to both
I looked
things.
back, yeah.
But you were gonna be a year or at least a year out, and you're gonna be paying out money that we don't have.
I think it brings in about 30-something thousand a year. That's why we figured it jumps back into the black.
Next fall.
Yeah.
So fall.
Yeah.
Like Gordon's saying, it's going to have to pay out of general funds to get it done.
And,
And then the collection will pay back the general fund, but it'll be out of there.
Which that's what State Board of Accounts says, go red and then
but
pay yourself back. Yeah.
And like end of January, 1st of February, some people will be on vacation, might not be around, but it'll be no problem once Mary gets back to send notices out to people to discuss a need for an increase in the ditch tax. would you like to attend this meeting? If you can't attend it, please write us a letter telling us your, what your opinions are. Like Kenny said, we could get everybody talking about it.
Well-
Maybe get it raised to more money, out of that meeting. They
I'm
decide.
I'm just afraid that when they go in there to do this, you're gonna have people come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sure.
And only those farmers that's farming that ground that's dug it up.
We
They know how
knows
bad
about
their
it.
branch is.
Scott, he knows about it now, but Scott and Morgan's the only one that knows what. And Morgan come to us on this thing and they're the only ones.
He talked to a couple other people. Newhouse benefits from this on the end there.
Scott Winger.
Winger, and then, the people just to the, Kendall, I think he said. was the
Kendall,
name,
that's
just-
it, yeah.
Just to the east of him there.
There's more than just Morgan benefits from this fix. It's like Kenny said, that, we can have them other people come and say, hey, our mine's just as bad. This is old. What do you do?
Get in line.
Getting along.
Well, I guess when they start coming in, that's when you schedule a public hearing to increase the, yeah, rates.
Do you want it done next year? Do you want it done 5 years from now?
Yeah.
They want it done next
I mean,
year.
it is the same as with any ditch, whether it's tributaries or not. If you're gonna reconstruct part of it and use all the money for it, and then somebody else wants something done on the ditch and there's no money there, then it's either you wait or you increase.
Yeah, force the issue.
Yeah, years ago, I had a young farmer call me and all the other farmers had spent all the money in the fund and it ended up on him in kind of a beat hole. He says, well, if the county don't fix this, I'm just gonna take the truck and fill it in. And he loses an acre or two every year there. I said, well, who's that gonna hurt? If you either pay more in a ditch tax or when everybody else spends your tax money, you gotta dig in your pocket to fix it. So you could petition. He didn't like my answers. He got mad.
Is
Well,
it,
That's the problem,
But the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Somebody said that, and these other guys were always on the job turning their bills in. It was like $1 an acre for this ancient tile.
So if we're not comfortable doing something with it now, knowing it's gonna be in the red until this time next year, do you just table it then and bring it back in the spring? When it's a little bit closer and we've got more money in the fund, or?
Yeah, they hate to do that, but they knew they didn't have enough money to do it. And they wanted to do it. And of course, ideally, let them pay for it. But we can't do that. I don't know.
So we either table it or we ask for another quote and then bring all three together and have this discussion all over again.
Then table it. Yeah.
We said, they knew they didn't have enough money, but well, they'll be down a year or two down the road, well. Then all of a sudden, our general, maintenance fund is broke.
So if we don't have the money now, do we just go ahead and advertise to increase it and see what feedback we get?
That's where I'd like to just have a meeting, inviting the landowners that pay attention out there, the good farmers that work on their stuff to come in and talk to us first before we just arbitrarily raise a ditch tax. And I'd like to hear their opinion and say, what do you guys want to do? What do you want?
Get your money.
It's their ditch.
I think maybe we table this with the caveat that we call a meeting of landowners for Powder Creek and have a discussion about it.
County will be out to postage, but we'd be better off getting everybody's opinion.
Would you be in trouble if you didn't invite everybody?
Well, I'd want to invite all the large landowners. We don't need to send
I just worry about the 5 acre guy that's got money to step on his toes and I'll stick you
It's
for it.
not gonna cost him that much.
Well, it's not a
Well,
public hearing.
it's-
It's just a discussion.
Yeah, it's not a hearing to increase the maintenance fee.
But the,
It's just to get feedback.
The discussion.
but you got 2 or 3 aisles longer. It's not like there's one, okay? You got one coming down this way, got one coming across here and goes north.
I would just do the large acreage. The farmers.
And I really think we need a little more feedback on this thing.
Thank you, sir. We still have quorum. We can.
I guess I would table it till we get a meeting and get these people in and see what they want to do. Because you're right, not mine needs to be done. We don't have money and I don't know.
Morgan's hands, maybe if he can get them together.
Yeah,
Is there, and this is just me looking, if we have another county tile that's got a small fund on it, we're only paying 50 cents an acre. Say there's $3,000 a year in that fund. That's all we collect. And somebody goes out and fixes 4 or 5 holes on it and they take the $3,000. Is there much difference in that scenario to this scenario?
No,
And that happens all the time.
right. Hopefully it's downstream of most people and most of us benefiting from it.
Right.
But that's happened a lot in the past.
Sure.
Band-aid money.
and a lot of people didn't turn the money in. I mean, did,
And then, if things break down on these other branches, we're obligated to fix them. That'll come out of the general drain improvement fund to be repaid by maintenance when it bounces all back. So we can't just ignore the other branches and not work on them because we don't have the money. We got something in the general.
Right.
what do we want to do?
Johnny? Yeah.
Well, you guys are the ones pay the bill, so I'm kind of staying out of this because you're the ones got to approve this payment.
Yeah. Well,
It does need done, but I'm kind of like Kenny, that we might get some input. And maybe they'd be wanting to raise it to $20 an acre, especially if the other branches need done.
We got the east end there.
As soon as we get our
Salt across the top or whatever.
quorum back.
but we raised the question, they brought, and we knew it didn't have the money to do it. We should have said, no, till the money's there, we're not going to do it. That's kind of hard-hearted, but,
Yeah, there's a joint with that.
Do you have a?
That's your guys' fault.
Yeah.
How much do we anticipate we're gonna be in the red?
Bring you more information, but I don't have. It'd be speculation,
It was about,
I think Morgan said that's like 35,000 a year.
More.
yeah, that sounds right.
So you'd be 10,000 in the negative.
So we put our camera back in there.
so,
East end, okay, we got a camera and we took it down.
I don't know.
Well, just put it on.
Tell Morgan if he wants to persuade you, he's gonna have to come
So
talk to me.
each
Yeah.
side, okay, where you're putting the level.
We've got a couple different scenarios. If we hold off into the discussion and commitment until next year, we know that we'll have a bulk of it. And then there may be a way to draw some money from a different location to cover it. But again, that's gonna require some more investigation, so.
They'll be looking at it, it's another year that he doesn't get crops.
It'll be,
Yeah,
I'll be there, I want to come off the cook.
If they're to the point where they're ready to pull the trigger and spend the money, I would guess that it.
But did I hear that if we approved it, you wouldn't hit it till next summer anyway?
That's my plan.
He was hoping to do it this fall, but
Yeah.
that was a month ago when we started discussing.
A little over half of that 30-some thousand comes in the spring. I do remember most of it comes in the spring. Because most people realize they gotta pay it anyway and they pay a little more. spring.
Well, the first board across the solid,
Well-
I think we're setting a bad precedent when we spend money we don't have, and we're still trying to figure out how to.
Put a board on.
I do too, because they knew they didn't have it. We were trying to give a alternative, well, they'll pay it out a year or 2 years, have the money in it, then we can do it. Should have been there, you should have been here 2 or 3 years ago.
That's the case a lot of times.
Yeah, no. And I think this Wildcat thing that we're talking about, we need to consider that making
I agree.
main branch and then the others. And if they don't want the Holly Walk and the, what is this, they don't want it, but we don't clean it.
And see, the other county, we're gonna have to give them the option of forming a joint board. That makes
Yeah.
it more difficult.
We're coming to the conclusion, we need to table this until we get into the beginning of next year. See how much money we're actually gonna raise, and if they wanna raise,
Do what?
I,
Excuse me.
I think we're just at the point where we're not wanting to spend money we don't have.
Works for me.
So we table it. I make a motion that we table
Table it.
Otter Creek. And,
Until they pursue it.
yeah, so somebody comes in and pursues how we're gonna get it done. And maybe David Morgan, maybe he'll get his people, all the people in. Or maybe you know what, you know.
And at that time, all the tile installation guys could, present a new price. Prices are gonna go
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
They could all be presented at the same time, so nobody knows that, you know, 'cause I don't
Well-
know none of this out anyway, but it'd be yes, to be some
Nothing
new
against
figures.
Burr, but he knew how much this thing was, so he knows how to bid it,
I'd like all those at the same time,
you know?
brought into the same
And,
meeting.
and I'm not, like I say, nothing against you, but I'm not,
It's always best to
really
have
for
it
that Morgan's.
sealed up.
Steel bid, yeah.
I want to be fair to everybody, okay?
Gordon made a motion to table until we have further action from the landowners.
Second.
You second that? All those in favor would say aye. Aye, it's carried. We have other business? Yeah, you see, Mary told me this was gonna be a Gene Johnson day, and I said, she jinxed us.
Do you want your copies vote back?
I'll take them back if you want.
Right? You want to
She
keep one?
want these.
I don't.
That's for the polywog. Yeah,
Middle course.
Was
I'll
it?
keep one
This
just.
is
so I know
our
what's
date here.
going on.
yeah.
I'll
Oh,
give
it is, Bill?
Appreciate
Keep one.
He's gonna keep one? Okay.
So I do, maybe keep it apart and then have to make another one.
All
Here,
right.
I
don't want this right.
I got one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want that big. I'll keep this one.
All right. Any other,
I'm not particular.
any other business?
I just like when Mary gets back, I'll work with her and Raymond and we'll pull out all the big landowners and leave the little parcels off. Just invite them in for a discussion on the ditch tax. I'll put a nice little letter together. You guys can read it beforehand, but you know, we could have a meeting in February, March, something like that.
That works. And then we can have a pretty solid plan.
I understand
quote.
Morgan's probably want to get this done, but, you know, we got other people in there that
And that's why
want theirs done, okay?
I didn't discourage him. I told him, you guys handle the purse strings and I realize it needs to be done, you know?
We don't have the money, so we get a little more money in, then we got a better,
Yeah.
you know,
We can have better hands.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Pate, second, Mr. Goff. All those in favor would say aye. Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
I'm gonna give you a quote back.
Yeah, tile will go up, so you guys will all have to,
Oh, that's absolutely.
you know, after this meeting with all the landowners, then, you know, we want you to all bring in something. You all bring in,
What do you think about it?
But you guys could all bring in the sealed bid on the date that, the Drainage Board's gonna open them. That way everybody be on the same page. If they want to get a third party, it'd be nice. Thanks, Mark.
I talked to Warren about it and don't suck whole year old. There's not that many suck on that thing every year, but it's just quartered and it's got dirt in it.
It's like, it just, all day today.
Turn this off.
I don't know.
Yeah. Stop. Right down.